It's 5:15. I'm calling to order the special meeting of the Bandera Economic Development Corporation for a workshop and a special meeting. Deanna McCabe, Laura Losoya, Rebecca Gibson, and myself are present. Sherry Stevens is absent. The city secretary is also present. Item 2 is the workshop. If you'll see in your packet, you have the proposed budget we've spoken about. In addition, our financials are there, and with this budget, the way it's configured right now, the numbers that we put in here, I believe at the end of our budget year, we should have about, because we still got about 60,000 yet in revenue to receive for this year, and we have 283 or whatever it is thousand in the bank. We should have about 130,000 in our checking account and 104,000 or 3,000 in our CDs. So that'll give us a little bit of a cushion to stay back in case there's some sort of major catastrophe. If y'all decide that this is a budget you want to go with. Questions, comments? Rebecca.
I think from our last workshop, all of the adjustments have been made. We had to, I remember we had discussed moving a few things around and then also creating the $50,000 line item for projects through the incentive program. So unless I'm missing something, I think that was everything.
You will note that in, where is it? In promotional and marketing expense, we've added $5,503 because at this particular time, that is the balance to carry over from this year to next year.
Okay.
That will be amended probably in December when we get all of our revenue and see what's actually, we'll be amending our 10% number because our 10% number goes up and we'll make that go up. Okay. Any other questions or comments about the budget? That being said, I would like to move on to the consent agenda. Items on the consent agenda are considered being of a routine nature by the Economic Development Corporation and may require only limited discussion. Any board member may request that items be removed from the consent agenda and considered separately for the purposes of discussion or voting. Item A is the minutes of the September 2, 2020 meeting, special meeting. Item B is the minutes of the September 10, 2020 special meeting. Item C is reimbursement of August QuickBooks subscription. Item D is administrative assistant hours and pay. And item E is invoices due. That's all in your
To
file.
approve.
Rebecca makes a motion to approve.
We don't have the minutes for those meetings.
Thank you. Then we'll
Then on
strike
the email.
those and move them to our next meeting.
Thank you, Deanna.
Rebecca, are you still?
With A and B removed,
Thank you.
yes.
Deanna seconds. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed. Item 4, approve the EDC fiscal budget for 2021. We discussed it briefly in our workshop. Anything else you want to add? If not, may I have a motion?
So moved.
Rebecca makes a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Laura seconds. Discussion? All in favor? All in favor, none opposed. Thank you. Okay. Discussion and possible action regarding setting a deadline for promotional funding applications. I've already received inquiries from Janet Lindig. I don't know what events are actually going to take place this coming year, but I think we ought to go ahead and get recommendations as quickly as possible, applications as quickly as possible. We have our next regular meetings October the 22nd. I don't see any reason to set an end date at this time, because what if somebody comes up in March and goes, okay, we are going to be able to have this event, and we're already tapped out. Normally, we get all of our applications early in the year and divvy up our money, what we have to work with, But this year's kind of weird, so I don't know, what do y'all want to do about that? Rebecca?
Will we be coordinating with the city along the lines of their applications for promotional expenditures under the hotel occupancy tax?
That's what we've done before, and normally the city addresses that by October 31st, I believe is what we're trying to do.
I thought we had, and maybe I'm thinking of something else, I'm sorry, but I thought we had kind of pushed it to closer to the end of the calendar year.
Well, our events are based on reimbursement.
Mhm.
EDC bases their funding on projected spending for the advertising prior to the event, where we, as a council, give ours back
After the fact.
after the event. So.
And I
Deanna, we
believe
talked about that.
on the application, we actually asked them if they've gotten the hot tax funding, because in the past, it was pretty limited, so we were trying to see who had gotten money or funding before. But I'm like you, this year, you just don't know what's gonna happen. And a lot of people aren't going to be, I don't believe, maybe planning until they know what's going on. So I think putting it in, I mean, I would love to have them in, you know, the first, if they feel that they're gonna have them, go ahead and let them put them in. But I hate to cut it off myself,
And
if there's money left over.
right. No. If I may.
Yes.
Are we looking at making any changes to these programs?
This is the promotional funding application that's online. So,
You want to see a copy?
Were there any changes that you were suggesting, Laura?
Well, I just, not specific changes, but I guess my question is more, should we look at it a little closer to see if there's anything that we do want to change, just to kind of, I don't know, for lack of a better word, just to kind of dissect it a little bit and see. And maybe there are no changes, which is fine too, but especially myself, speaking for myself only, being new to the EDC, I have a baseline familiarity with the programs, but to dig deep and see what is it that we're looking for, what questions we're asking, I personally would like a little bit of time.
Would you like to postpone this, or not postpone it, actually table it until our next regular meeting? I mean, I kind of agree. I haven't really had a chance to look at this either, but there are those who are looking to be moving forward. For instance, November the 1st weekend, we'll have the Hunters Barbecue, and we'll have those projects, and some of them need a little bit of bump in the beginning. I don't know how you want to handle this as a board.
One thought that I have is to reach out to the major event hosts and kind of see if, just kind of gauge where they are with their planning. And try to help figure out what the need is. And we could basically, I imagine, start with a list of those events that we've provided funding for in the past, and just looking at the CBB calendar, and just having more dialogue with them about this decision before we make the decision, so that we can be sure to accommodate their needs. My only thought. I don't know that there's I don't have any sense of urgency in setting a deadline, because like you said, people just kind of don't know right now.
If you look, I'm sorry, are you through? If you look on your budget versus actual,
Just like the list.
these have all been updated, so you will see that the actual Medina River Protection Fund, Bandera honors veterans, and you'll see a list of those who have applied this last year and the amounts that they were given and the amounts that were paid out. The only one that was not paid out was Frontier Times Museum, Rancho York. That check was returned to us. So that gives you an idea.
And the previous budget versus actual shows the previous years also, if that's in,
Oh, thank you.
they're all broken down in that way.
You know, National Night Out is coming up very soon. Cowboys on Main are an annual event. It's up to you guys.
But there's nothing restricting us from receiving applications and considering funding at this time.
Nothing.
Right. I mean, you did mention, National Night Out, I know that's coming up, so that's if there were an application there, we could potentially review it, consider it at this time. And then, just trying to think of what else is in the fall. Hunters Weekend, Buckfest, Buckwild.
If we stay with preliminary, first shot, first people, I think Jana was gonna fill out one of these and send it back. If at some point we determine we need more information prior to developing a new application, we could certainly request that information.
Yeah, because this isn't, set in stone, the be all end all. If there's more information, I'm sure they'd be more than willing
Right.
to, in the meantime, until we can
Right, we can
review
still
and revise. if
go through it,
necessary.
recommend changes, whatever you'd like to do.
Okay. Yeah, I just would like a little time myself, just to, again, there may be no changes.
But we can still accept applications if that's agreeable with the board. And I would say we don't put a time limit on it right now. We
I
just
agree.
start taking applications.
Sure.
Well, I was just going to say with this application, it's come a long way. Because when we first started doing this, I just want to say that we were getting financials and estimates from, and it was just chaos. So I would really like to see, I think this was a really good application that they put together that, and I'm just want to hopefully keep the bones of that in there.
Sure.
Because if you have all of these other different ones, it was really hard to keep up with them. So just my thought.
Yeah.
But I agree, I think, setting a deadline right now, it's gonna be tough on everyone.
Yeah.
We're in this wait and see
Yeah.
mode.
Mhm.
I think everyone's-
Then, why don't we entertain a motion to the effect that the board will accept applications with no particular deadline for promotional funding? And review again on the 22nd, see where we are. If we want to change this, we want to get more information, if we want to move forward. I think we need to give them something. Yes, please do it.
Yeah,
We're not setting a deadline right now. Let's see where we are.
Would that be an amendment to a current policy that's, sorry, I don't know off the top of my head. So I just don't know, or I'm trying to understand, why do we need a motion? Because as it stands, anybody can submit an application for any of our programs.
Well, this is for this year's funding. Alrighty, well, Deanna, take it away. I really don't know either.
Are you talking about if it was?
Does it have to be an action item?
I mean, the action item was to set a deadline. If we're not going to set a deadline, and we can just start accepting applications, which I think was kind of the norm around
That's
this
what
time of year. I think we ended up setting a deadline, I think, in the past, or maybe just the past couple of years, only because it was just, we had so little. And we wanted everyone to have a fair shot before the money was gone, because we wanted to look at everything and to see, it was hard. It was a really hard decision when you have this many events that we all support and then this little bit of money. But I think with our carryover and then the projections look, even at our 10% might be better than expected. And again, that's going on we don't know if some of the events are going to be held.
Right.
So, and I don't know, if it were me, I would say not set a deadline, and if that's the action item.
Move on. Good with that?
Good with that. So this would be a no action at this time. Okay, item 5, board comments. I do want to draw your attention to an email I received from Sully Woodland with the Bandera Economic Development Corporation. Not with the Bandera National
Oh,
History
yes,
Museum.
it's here.
Oh,
We have,
No,
yes,
well,
thank you.
well, it's fine. So what he's asking, and he's explaining that, you know, they've been hurt by the COVID and they haven't finished their project either. I would like to put this on our October 22nd agenda to consider. And give you all time to talk to Sully if you'd like to, and
This is a proposal to a change in the performance agreement.
yes,
Okay.
it's been amended once and he wants to amend it a second time to accommodate the issues that he's having this year.
Okay.
So,
So this will be on our next
no,
agenda.
yes, this didn't come in time to get it on the agenda. Any other board comment? Okay. Item 7, establish the next EDC meeting. Our regular meeting is October the 22nd. Everybody good with that?
Same time, 6:30?
6:30? All right. Now, all that's left is to get a motion to adjourn.
Question.
Thank you, Laura. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Rebecca, Deanna, Suzanne. No, any discussion? All in favor? All in favor, none. 5:31, the meeting is adjourned.